In this episode of Detroit Performs, a spoken word artist furthers the education of children in the community, using murals as a learning tool, and an art studio on wheels. It's all ahead on this edition of Detroit Performs.
Funding for Detroit Performs is provided by Masco Corporation is proud to manufacture innovative and environmentally friendly products for the home. Delta faucets, craft-made in Merillat cabinets, and Behr brand paints have all been designed with you in mind. Masco and its family of companies, serving Michigan communities since 1929. Funding is also provided by the Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs and the National Endowment for the Arts, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello, and welcome to Detroit Performs. I'm your host, DJ Oliver, and today I'm at 16 Hands Gallery in Ann Arbor. I'll be talking to the owner of this beautiful gallery, Jill Damon, later on in the show. But first up, let's head to Detroit, where artist Jami Tata is educating the youth in our community.
You are the pride of the universe, saving trees by planting seeds in the minds of babes as well as the fertile ground we see.
Words are keys to communication.
And without words, without understanding words written and spoken, it's kind of hard to navigate your environment. Smog. We all fall. We all fall. But we get up. The sky falls. I am a writer, so I have written since I was little. I have learned the art of performance, poetry. This is my name. This is our name. You can't take it away. My inspiration is revolution. I am always about change. I see a lot of things that are not just, so I strive for justice, and I write about what it means to be a more sustainable, holistic, and caring world. I stand challenging traditions to allow for opportunities for women. Inside of my house and outside of my house, I had some challenges. So, I think being able to write from a place of authenticity, even though some of the things you say may be hard truth for others, that's okay. There is cowardice behind your actions. My potential to pass your potential scares your enterprise. The power behind your name will be lessened, along with the cars in your garage and your position in society. I have a lot of anger in me that I let out through my poetry. And being able to have that as an outlet is healthy, being able to write things that, matter to me and somehow they matter to other people too. Like, I'm not the only one that's been wrongly screwed over by this, that, and the other. I want fresh and organic vegetables in my neighborhood. I don't have that in the grocery stores, even outside of my neighborhood. That's an injustice. Why can't our kids have education? That's an injustice. Being able to talk about those things are like where my art, where my writing and my performance comes from. Through cooperative economics, we grow our own food. We build and own our own neighborhoods. We employ our own neighbors. We don't wait for others to give us value. In my household, I sometimes didn't have a voice. So poetry gave me an opportunity to have a voice. I journaled like 3 times a day. It saved my life many days. It, made me really able to think about where I wanted to be and that I wanted to be here on earth, continuing the work of sharing what it means to be a creator. It's one thing to do work, but if you do work that affirms your life, you'll do it forever. The train is an extension. The train extends the song. This is my name. This is our name. You can't take it away. I went to Detroit Public Schools. I went to King High School. Love King, love everything that I learned, love the people. But my educational journey was tumultuous, and I think I survived because of the support that I received supplementally outside of the school system. In 2005, one of the things that was dismaying to me was the systematic closing of schools. I thought they deserved more. I thought they deserved better, and it shouldn't start tomorrow, it should start today. All right, next word is what?
Adolescent.
All right, what does that mean? I founded No Allegiance Nation with the goal of building a nation of knowledge seekers, and we do that through consciousness raising and literacy attainment. So there's 3 pillars to our nation building work. So we have our basic literacy that we do through poetry and entrepreneurship. So we teach kids how to, write for themselves, basically affirming and creating self-worth. The second pillar is sort of our advanced literacy that we do through broadcast journalism. So I'm a community radio DJ, and I teach the young people about community radio DJing. So we are excited to kind of have our own mechanism to broadcast stories of Detroiters and Detroiters in Detroit neighborhoods and those voices that are marginalized like the young people. And then sort of the last pillar is survival literacy. We do that through agriculture and agrarianism. So we teach about land justice, we teach about food sovereignty, we teach about growing your own to feed yourself. I have 3 gardens that I grow at. We have a market, a community, and we have a healing butterfly garden that we manage. So we are going to add words to a circle. They can either be your words or they can be words from the dictionary. Every Tuesday and Friday, we have the Illuminate Literacy Entrepreneur classes. The young people are being introduced to a dictionary. They have words of the day, and every day they come in, there's usually 2 or 3 words on the board, and they get a chance to write the definition, learn a part of speech, use it in a sentence, and use it in alliteration.
Active, attack, and asset.
I think it's basic skills that, everybody thinks they know, and the young people kind of support each other and just reaffirming that you don't have to know everything. And also, too, we're growing together. So just because you don't know this now don't mean you can't learn it and know it tomorrow.
Resilience means self-determination.
Beautiful. I think, the young people respect each other's space, and as artists, they're respecting the artist process of each of the young people that are in the room, but also they share their work so they can, share their alliterations, which sometimes be amazing. So they give the other students access to words that they didn't have access to. So they're building each other's vocabulary.
And I kept falling, and I got up because I was resilient.
Ooh, nice. In each class, we learn vocabulary, we write, and we go over performance techniques. And this evening, they're creating poems around being active, whatever that means to them.
I've been running ever since Sunset stopped selling Hope and started selling CDs to my shoppers. They call it lyrical healing.
He's a good teacher because sometimes he comes up with these ideas of writing that you would have never thought of. And here and there, he'll push you depending on what it is. And it'll make you better in doing poetry.
Activate in 5, 4, 3, 2. It's time to make an impact, emphasizing the fact that change needs to happen, to not sit down and push back.
After they learn about journaling and then creating poems, they learn about putting it in a format that you can give to others, and then attaching a value to that. So putting a price on their poem, so then they can sell their poem. So they learn about value from self, and then they externalize that and become literacy entrepreneurs.
It's just crazy to think about that you could push yourself and others around you could push yourself and believe in you that much to the point where you have something to show everything that you've accomplished in this small period of time. If I wasn't in this program, I would have been lost. And it just makes it easier as a learning process. And it gives kids an outlet pretty much to where they can just express themselves as they choose to, which is amazing.
The heart of my culture needs healing, but you can't heal an open wound when shots are constantly fired through.
Being able to, create power and agency in young people and adults to tell their own stories and to create their own narratives through the power of language is why we do what we do.
My music degraded into some mess of jumbled words, but my liberty is still in need of liberation. Thank you.
You can learn more about Jami Tata as well as all the artists we feature on DetroitPerforms.org. Artist Gail Rosenblum Kaplan works with local schools' curriculums to develop murals that will be displayed in the Detroit Public Library. We caught up with Gail and her crew as they work with McDowell Preparatory Academy in Detroit.
Art is an amazing learning tool.
It's a release, it's a form of expression.
Art is really fun.
I can express myself.
You get to like show your actual personality into the whole picture.
I think it taps into other forms of intelligences. It's like if you can be creative with your hands and with your eyes and in making art, you can also be creative in the choices that you make with your life. Our kids' potential is just unlimited.
The project was created, Barbara Cohn is a woman who founded a tour program for the Detroit Public Library. And she was very unhappy that the children's reading room was really not very inviting. Several people had mentioned the work of Donnie Katsir and myself. I said, you know, it's great when you can involve the kids in the schools to create the art, because that's really who you're trying to bring to the library.
So far, we've spelled the word manufacturer. We've still got the ing to do. We've got our word agriculture, and we've got our word up here, which is tourism. 3 huge parts of Michigan's economy.
We're really trying to get the kids to think about literacy and learning, so that's why we called it Literacy and Learning Installation. The artwork is created by the kids, but they have actually, in their schools, done curriculum based on the different themes. So every school had a different concept. Today we're at McDowell, which is a public charter school, and we wanted them to actually choose the unit that they wanted to study or that they were already doing as part of the curriculum and give it a creative twist.
We wanted to have our scholars involved in this project because it immersed social studies and science and the arts all at the same time. We came up with a few ideas. We decided on Michigan because we wanted our kids to just have this sense of ownership and be proud of the city that Detroit is and is growing to be, and also just be proud of Michigan overall and maybe get adventurous and want to explore more.
A lot of times, you know, you ask scholars where they live and they're like, United States. Like, yes, we know that, right? But it's so important to build that pride within scholars to know, I live in Michigan, I live in Detroit, I live in the Motor City. To be able to speak intellectually about where they live, and also just to have that appreciation for their state and so many things that are here.
What do we make in Detroit? What are we known for? Cars. So you have a car here. So one of our artists did a car.
Kids were asked to do drawings that represented Michigan. So some of the kids highlighted the GM building. We have the Spirit of Detroit sculpture. They drew pictures of the zoo. They drew pictures of what they've experienced in Detroit. They drew pictures of the waterfront. Very common theme was the Joe Louis fist. Kids love sports, and Michigan has all these great sports teams. You know, even if they're not winning all the time, kids love sports.
We do have a huge number of universities, community colleges in Michigan, so all of you should be thinking about which one of those you are shooting your dreams for.
McDowell School does a big push on talking about college. So in our mosaic, the kids did drawings of the different universities. So we really tried to encourage the kids to really go from the city of Detroit to up north. We have the state bird, which is the robin. We have the apple blossom, which is the state flower. We have the white pine tree. So we had over 500 drawings done by the kids. So we really are using their drawings of those things. These are the kids' artwork, and that's what makes the pieces so charming in the mosaics.
My teacher, she said just think of something that you might draw, and I thought of this because it's a cool picture and it's a pretty picture.
I have designed a train over a city with an American flag on the building.
So I tried to take the most common themes and I put them into a collage, and then Donnie Katsir, who's my glass mosaic partner, who I've worked with for 18 years, we took those drawings and assembled them into like a master drawing, and we enlarged it to a 3-foot by 7-foot board, and we outlined it. We took the outline and we did the outline in glass. We work in a stained glass medium. Donnie, my partner, cut all of the glass into strips, and then we bring the strips into the school. A lot of times kids, they don't always want to draw, they don't always want to paint, but when you tell them they're cutting glass, I have the kids lined up to cut glass. It's not so dangerous. The kids are using a special cutter, they're careful, but they can actually use this clipper to actually cut the glass. And the kids are really excited by the physicality of it. And then they glue them into place. Because we've already outlined it, they're kind of filling in the colors. And at the end of the day, working with 300 kids, 400 kids, I tell them if I were in my own studio working on this, it would take me a few months. but by working as a community in the arts, that we're really working as one group. And I asked the kids to come at the end of the day to see the finished piece, and by the end of the day, the entire mosaic is done.
I think that people did a good job because I never knew that artists can do that, and it's cool because I never did it before.
We worked together like really good because I was with my friends and we had a great time.
It's one more way of learning is by using the art to draw the images. One more way of reinforcing. You know, we drew images of cherries and apple trees. I mean, it's just a tree, but it shows that this is industry, this is commerce, this is what we do in Michigan. So by studying this with the goal of doing an artwork and their images being included in the artwork, it makes the kids excited to learn their curriculum.
I would say the number one thing I've seen is that scholars are asking so many more questions. So it sparked an interest for more information.
Through this art project, it's really interesting to see just like what things kids latched on to from particular lessons. One kid's still talking about a Sleeping Bear Dunes legend that they read like 3 months later, and that's what she chose to draw. And it's now actually in the mural. We visited an orchard, so it was great to see what an impact that had on a lot of them as well.
When you learn something new that you never learned before, you understand it more and you learn how to do it more.
I learned that there are a lot of stuff in Michigan.
I didn't know Michigan was the best state.
Very few of our schools in Detroit right now have art. So this was a great way of giving exposure to the arts and showing the power of the arts because the kids are really excited with what they're doing.
For all of our teachers and our staff, it showed that our kids are totally capable of making that art connection. In terms of the drawings and everything else, it was like this easier connection that we could use all the time.
Grows their confidence tremendously so that they know my learning is important, my efforts are important, and I can make a beautiful piece of art because of it.
This project right now is really exciting because the Detroit Public Library is in a city where the city itself is coming back to life. And we're part of it. What we're doing in the children's reading room is part of it. You know, these kids are part of the experience, and as an artist, I'm bringing people together. And I think it's just, you know, we're at the right time, at the right place to really shine and show how the arts are really taking center stage.
What's up, guys? I am here with the owner of 16 Hands Gallery, Jill Damon. How you doing, Jill?
Very well, thanks.
All right, so tell our viewers out there a little bit about 16 Hands.
Well, 16 Hands started as an artist co-op in 1975, and it hasn't been a co-op since the mid-'80s. But now we carry work from artists from all over the country and a few fair trade organizations and local artists as well as artists from all over.
Okay, and so why is Ann Arbor a great town to have an art gallery like this?
People seem to appreciate it. I think people's awareness has been raised because of the art fairs here, so they're used to seeing a lot and talking to the artists and have a certain familiarity with it.
So probably the most obvious question I have is, why is it called 16 Hands?
That's true, that's what everybody has. Originally it was started by 8 artists.
Okay.
2 hands apiece.
Oh,
yeah,
I like that. All right, so tell me about some of your favorite pieces here.
There's a print, it's a letterpress print. It says that hope is essential, and it's a picture of a number of different drinking glasses, and they all have different amounts of water in them. So it's more than half full, most of them are. And I just think it's a really great message, especially now. And another one of my favorites is a sculptural owl made out of found objects by Jim and Tori Mullins. And it's just really kind of whimsical, but a really nice sculptural piece too.
So this is kind of a hidden gem. We tried to discover this place, so you had to walk up some steps. So you tell our viewers out there, how do you find 16 Hands Gallery?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that it's upstairs because people often come to Carytown and say, where is it? And don't know that there's a lot of cool shops up on the second floor. And we used to be on Main Street, and then people would find us a lot more easily. But we've been in town for so long that a lot of people know about us or know to ask or check online and look at our website or something like that.
All right, so what's your favorite part about being the owner of 16 Hands Gallery?
I guess seeing the look on people's face when they really get it, when they really appreciate something. They really get it that this piece has a spirit, a soul, You know, it's not just pretty. Maybe it's out of unusual materials, like recycled materials, and they've used them in a kind of an unexpected way. But I love to see the look that comes over someone's face when they really appreciate a piece.
All right, so tell me about some of the artists you have here. Are they local artists? Who do you bring in here and how do you choose them and what art do they show here?
There are local artists. There are a lot of artists from Michigan and all over the US, some from Canada, a couple from Europe, and a couple of fair trade organizations that we work with. And how I choose them, mostly I'm looking for things that are functional and will fit in our space, which kind of rules out a lot of larger paintings. But things that are unique that will make you smile.
Well, they've made me smile. This place is full of
good.
a lot of hidden gems around here.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much, Jill.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
your time. All right, now let's check out some upcoming events happening in and around the D. The Milwaukee Art Museum has a mobile art studio that travels throughout the city, offering free activities to families based on the museum's permanent collection.
We can go anywhere and bring art projects to families. We can go to school cafeterias, to parks, really any location, and set up a really fun and authentic art experience. Cole's Color Wheels is Milwaukee Art Museum's off-site studio program. This program goes to local community events throughout the Milwaukee area, and we visit over 100 sites per year. So we visit school and community festivals, and we bring free art activities to families.
Nice job.
We're always creating art activities inspired by Milwaukee Art Museum's permanent collection and feature exhibitions, and we're using all different kinds of media. So you could stop by Cole's Color Wheels and try printmaking, painting, sculpture, or any number of art projects. All of the activities at Cole's Color Wheels are drop-in, and they're geared towards families with kids 12 and under. And it's really fun for the whole family, so kids and their parents are invited to participate. Cole's Color Wheels is part of the Cole's Art Generation program at Milwaukee Art Museum. And this is a partnership between the museum and Cole's Cares. And Cole's Cares has been involved with the museum since 2008, and they've made a $6.3 million commitment to the museum. And it's just really a great way for families to spend time together and learn about art.
It looks good.
The great thing about Cole's Color Wheels projects is they're all free. So you just drop in, you can try one project or you can try more than one. With the Cole's Color Wheels program, the projects are always changing. We'll always highlight some of our feature exhibitions, which change 3 or more times a year, but then we're also diving deeply into our permanent collection. During the school year, when we're visiting school events, sometimes we'll find out what's going on at that event and try to customize a project particularly for it. And then during the summer, we tend to focus on our big summer feature exhibition. So this summer, we're focusing on Milwaukee Art Museum's feature exhibition, Van Gogh to Pollock, Modern Rebels. So in this exhibition, you see some of the most famous and beloved artists in the world. So Van Gogh, Jackson Pollock, Matisse, and we're making art activities inspired by these artists. So you can learn about Van Gogh and how he painted from nature and make your own landscape painting.
You just have to have fun, that's the most important part.
We're also looking at Matisse and his intricately patterned still life arrangements. You can make your own patterned still life arrangement.
Are you gonna make a pattern on this side? Yeah.
And also you can have a chance to try action painting like Jackson Pollock. So we've got a long canvas on the ground and you can, just like Jackson Pollock, use unusual tools and your whole arm movement in creating a painting. It's really fun. And then a bonus is you get to learn more about art, art making, and art history.
And that wraps it up for this edition of Detroit Performs. As always, for more arts and culture, head to DetroitPerforms.org, where you'll find featured videos, blogs, and information on upcoming arts events. Also, check us out on Facebook and Twitter. I'd like to thank the 16 Hands Gallery and Jill Damon for letting us view these gorgeous pieces displayed throughout the space. Next time you're in Ann Arbor, take a walk up the steps and see it for yourself. Until next time, get out there and show the world how Detroit performs, y'all. I'm DJ Oliver. Thanks for watching, guys.
Funding for Detroit Performs is provided by Masco Corporation is proud to manufacture innovative and environmentally friendly products for the home. Delta faucets, craft-made in Merillat cabinets, and Behr brand paints have all been designed with you in mind. Masco and its family of companies, serving Michigan communities since 1929. Funding is also provided by the Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs and the National Endowment for the Arts, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.